What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Bullish Bears video. I'm Bullish Bears Kevin and I'll be your host. Today I'm going to be going over Nvidia because this week Nvidia has earnings. It has earnings this week on, let's see, we have it on Tuesday the 21st. So estimated 3.3, revenue estimated $16.1 billion. Now guys, Nvidia is a powerhouse. Nvidia is insane. It's a fantastic, huge, in my opinion, it's a great company. It's somewhat of the future, I mean, if we pull it up and we really do take a look at what Nvidia offers between AI, between just the software, the tools we use, the computers, all this type of stuff, they're a huge, huge network, a huge name, and just only getting bigger from here, in my opinion, right? So we do have to think about it. We have to think about how were the sales on it. We have to think, okay, have sales been down this year? How have the other stocks been reacting? How is the chart moving? What's going on? We got to really read into it to understand what's going on, what to be expected. Now, if we're looking at the daily chart for the Nvidia, right, we were in this falling wedge right here, a little bit of a flag pattern. We went up, down, until we finally got our breakout right here. And at the moment, this past week, we have been in a range from my area of interest from 486 to about 496, so about a $10 range, right? So when we're in a range, we look to buy at the lows and sell at the highs. So if you're trading something like Nvidia and you're an options trader, you would be buying calls around 483, 486, and you'd be buying puts around 496 or exiting said calls. So something I'm going to be looking for this week trade setup wise, I'm really going to be looking for us to stay within this range right here. If by chance we do break out of the range, there's a couple things I'll look for, and this is not including earnings, which we do have to remember, guys. Earnings is just on Tuesday, and it looks like it's going to be Tuesday after market closes. So we have Monday and Tuesday as regular trading days, and then Tuesday, as we see last time Nvidia had earnings, we gapped up. We had a huge move. Actually, the past two times we had earnings. The last time we had earnings, we gapped up about to a new all-time high. We gapped up $31, 6% on Nvidia overnight because of earnings were green, higher than expected. What happened the time before that? We had the same type of situation. We had a huge gap. We had a $80 gap on Nvidia from a Thursday, what was that, from a Wednesday to a Thursday because of earnings. Volume was so huge. Look at that volume from the day prior was 72 million. The next day was 226 million because earnings brings such a huge amount of investors, because it says, okay, look, this company beat their expected earnings this time, beat their or lost. They didn't beat. So it depends on what they're going to do, how the outcome is for them. Now, again, in my opinion, I do think we're going to have a strong earnings with Nvidia. There has not been much sign of a slowdown. There are gaps to fill, of course, to the downside, especially this large one right here from 366 to 303. But the odds of us gapping from 490 to even below sub 400 would not really go in our favor. I do think Nvidia is going to want some type of gap up into the 520 area. I'm going to be watching for that. I'm going to be looking for selling pressure to step in, sort of the same way it stepped in this time when we had the gap up from earnings. And then even this other day when we gapped up on earnings on May 25th, we still were met with some selling. Got to remember too, people who were in long positions or people who were just holding the stock, when we have a large gap like that, they're looking to scale out of some, if not all, of their position because they have to take profit. They're securing profit, and them doing that is selling and putting bear pressure, selling pressure on that market, on that stock. So let's look into a smaller time frame real quick, and as you guys could see, we have this now daily demand zone on Nvidia. So I would like to play calls off of this 474 area if we could break back below to target 497. That'd be a nice little swing trade there. Might have to see how earnings goes. Now, because we gapped up so strong the past two earnings, there could be the possibility that we don't get much of a gap at all on earnings, and it's just looking to crush IV on contracts, on options contracts. And as many of you may or may not know, when we are in options and when earnings come around for some of these stocks and equities, the options contracts, the IV goes through the roof, which causes the contracts to be way more expensive. And what happens when we don't get the expected move, or when the IV comes down? When I say it comes up, I mean it goes high hundreds, 200, 300% above the average price. Now, when that IV comes down back to 80, 70, 60%, it's crushing those contracts. We're going from $500, $600, $700 a contract because it's overpriced to now the next day they open, we don't gap anywhere, we stay in the same price. But now those people that either got calls or puts because they got it when the IV was so high, now that the IV is flushed, those are going to be down $300, $200, like huge pushes lower. So always got to remember, when we're trading earnings, we have to trade what we're okay to lose. Okay, we cannot go too crazy on this. You have to be, it's sort of like a YOLO. When I teach our members in our community, and you could check it out at bullishbears.com, click that join button, you join us live for our trades every morning. I like to teach that when we're trading and really taking it seriously, we're not gambling. We're trading our zones, we're trading our levels, and we're listening to the market. And if I'm listening to this chart right here on NVIDIA, it's telling me that we still should have some room to go. It's telling me that maybe we have a flag pattern coming along right here. Where is our... Maybe we have a little bear flag, or a bull flag, I should say, before we want to break back higher and continue, right? A break and a retest. So another trade I might look for is a break above this 496,500 level, and then a retest of that zone to go long. So if we want to stay creating these higher lows and stay bullish, I'm going to look for us to break above that supply zone, retest it, and then take this long position right here, and we're going to look to take profit at some type of key psychological level, whether we're aiming for 510, 520. It would depend on the strength that NVIDIA has that day. Put our stop loss at a previous swing low and have a nice 3 or 4 to 1 risk to reward on that trade. And that's the setup I'm going to be looking for this week, guys. Another few things I might look out for is some selling pressure from this zone to push lower, to stay in this range, to short 496, long 486, or even a break below this range, and bears want to take back control, right? I'll then short the retest of this zone and take profit at the daily demand zone, because that is a strong area. Alright guys, I hope you guys take some of these trades and get some money on NVIDIA this week. Remember, be careful when you're trading earnings. Trade at your own risk. This is not investment advice. This is just some technical analysis, some good zones to keep an eye on, and how I'm going to be watching and trading NVIDIA this week. Alright guys, don't forget, join us, join our Discord community, get access to our website full of courses as well at bullishbears.com. Have a fantastic day, happy trading, and take care everyone.